In this bot example video, I want to show you how to build a trend plus momentum trading bot. This is going to be a bot that uses two different types of indicators and now starts to add some complex decisions as opposed to some of the more simple bots that we've done earlier in this section. So we'll call this one trend plus momentum so that we know exactly what the bot does. We'll give it some allocation and our position limits here, and then once we're good to go, we just simply create the bot. This creates our brand new bot, and our shell is completely blank as always. It's got no positions, no automations, and no logs because nothing's in it. And as always, by default, everything is off for automations, whether you create a new bot or whether you clone any existing bot as a safeguard. So when you're ready to go and you have everything built out exactly the way that you want, then you go in and you turn on your automations. So for this particular bot, like I said, we're going to be building a trend plus momentum bot. We effectively want to see if a stock is in an uptrend as judged by being above its 200-day moving average, and we want to use a different indicator, in this case ADX, to judge whether the stock is in a strong trend, having an ADX reading above 25. And by all means, this is just an example, and of course you can use different indicators or different combinations of decisions. This is just to show you some of the functionality that the bots have and how you can do complex decisions in a simple little template like this. So we're going to go here to our scanner and we're going to start building out this new scanner automation. We want to scan for opportunities where the market is both in an uptrend and has strong momentum as judged by our ADX technical. Now we could use some of the list of automations here and we could edit some of the fields in there, but for this particular bot example video, I want to create a brand new automation. And we're going to go up here and we're going to name this trend plus momentum scanner, so we know exactly what it's doing. We're going to add it to our library so that we can reuse it across other bots if we want to and use it as the basis for creating other copies or clones. The first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to have the bot make a couple decisions. Now here inside of the decision action, we have the ability to add criteria as you've seen in other videos. This particular video is going to go a little bit further because we're going to add some and or decision criteria inside of one block of decision criteria itself. So we're going to add multiple sets of decisions that we want to go through, the bot to go through in this particular step. The first thing that we want the bot to do is check and see if a particular symbol that we're trading is above its 200-day moving average. That's the trend component of this particular scanner. So here we can actually manually type in the symbol and choose SPY, or as we've done in other videos, we can create a custom input so that we can reuse this symbol field and it can be flexible across the bot whenever we want to use it. So here we'll just set the default value as SPY and we'll set the label for this input as ticker. Now we can plug in the ticker and we can make adjustments and make flexible automations later, just changing that one particular field. Next, we'll go over here to the additional field in the recipe and change this to a 200-day moving average. Once we're good to go, we simply hit save. Now, in previous videos, I've shown you that we usually stop at this point. We can save here and then we can add it to our particular automation editor, and that would let the bot go through this one decision. However, I want to go in here and edit this and actually add some additional decision steps right here in this one block together. This is a little bit different than what we've done before because now I'm forcing the bot to make an and or decision based on a bunch of criteria versus separating them out. There's no right or wrong way to do this. There's just a different way you could do it. In this case, we want to now introduce our momentum indicator. So we go down all the way to the bottom where our indicators are, and we click on this recipe here, which is going to check and see if a particular stock has a reading on one of these momentum indicators that we have available in the platform. So here we can manually put in the symbol if we want to, but since we've already created a custom input for the symbol, we can just simply reuse that custom input here. Then we're going to go over to the 14-day ADX. Now the ADX is just a different indicator that can judge momentum and trend of a security. And so we generally want to use this with whatever settings we feel most comfortable. And sometimes the most comfortable setting is to see if the ADX on a 14-day range is above 25. So if we're good to go here, we just simply hit save. Now what this has done inside of the actual decision action is it's created two different lists of criteria. And we can just simply toggle between these two if we want the bot to make a decision either or. So either the stock is in an uptrend or it has pretty good momentum, or we want to do the and decision here, which is that it needs to be both true in order for us to enter a new position. For this particular bot, like I said, because it's called trend plus momentum, we want to leave it at the and decision. This means that when the bot runs through this particular block of decision criteria, both of these statements have to be true in order for it to continue down the yes path. If we go here and save this, you can see that both of those are added to our decision block right inside of the automation editor. The ticker's price has to be above the 200-day moving average, and the ticker's 14-day ADX reading has to be above 25. Only if both of those are true, because we used an and decision, would it continue down the yes path. If either of those are not true, or one of those are not true, then it would continue down the no path. In this case, we just simply want to add an action to open a position. You can add whatever you want. Just for simplicity, we'll just add a long equity position. Again, you can type in the symbol here, or you can create a custom input and link it back to that same ticker that we've used previously. And we'll just give it 1 share for now. So this is our very simple trend plus momentum scanner. Again, you can reuse the open position for whatever type of position you want, a option position, a long equity position, or a combination of different positions that you want to enter if the stock is in an uptrend with good momentum. In this case, if we're good to go and we're done, we just simply exit out of here and we double check our ticker symbol input here. Remember, we can change this at any point to a different ticker symbol without having to go in and edit the actual automation itself. That field is variable, which means that changing it here lets it change inside of here, and we can add different scanners and just update this ticker field here. We'll do this actually right now so you can see how it works. Now you can add a description here like we're going to do, and we could call this T plus M, so that we know that this is specifically for QQQ, and we could even say it's a scanner as well, and then we hit save. That adds the scanner as our QQQ trend plus momentum scanner. Again, everything is still off because we haven't turned on any automations inside the bot. If we want to build additional scanners for other symbols that we want to trade inside this bot, it's actually very easy to do. You just simply go to that same automation that you had built before, which is the trend plus momentum. You add it here, and then you just change the actual symbol that it's trading right here. In this case, we can add another one called TLT trend plus momentum scanner. And then we hit save. That adds both of these now to our list of scanners, and you can do this for a bunch of different symbols if you want to. So now our scanners are in place. They're looking for positive uptrending stocks that have good momentum as we judge them using our indicators. And now we have to build out our monitor automations. The beautiful thing about this is that now that we have a number of bots that we built in this section, we have a number of ways that we can manage or use templates that are currently in place to add additional monitors to our bot. So we add additional monitor here, and then we can choose from the list of my automations and the different monitors that we have existing. Notice that all the incompatible ones are scanners. This is because we're adding a monitor automation, which is managing an existing position, not looking for a new position. So the bots are smart enough to recognize that we just want to simply add a new monitor automation. Now, we already have a stock trend manager that we built before, and if we go into the edit field, you can see that it was just checking the symbol's price against the 200-day moving average. It's not really applicable to the way that we want to manage this particular position, so we're going to build out a brand new monitor automation from scratch. You could have used that one as a basis for building this one and create a copy, but I like to build these brand new so that you can see exactly how they work. So in this case, we'll call this trend plus momentum manager, and we'll add it to our library. Once we do that, now it's in our library, and we can reuse this trend plus momentum manager anytime that we have a particular bot that we want to manage positions this way. The first thing that we're going to do here is, again, add the repeater. This tells the bot to pull in all the positions of a certain type so that we can start to reference some of the data in those bots and in those positions for the purposes of managing them. It sounds pretty intuitive. It's just going to repeat through all of the positions that it has of a certain type. In this case, we want to specifically designate the long equity position that we had entered into for those particular scanners. So it would basically not look at any type of a position except long equity position in this particular bot. We go ahead and hit save. Now we need to add some decision criteria. Remember that we had 2 decision criteria that we added to the original scanner, and we could reuse those same sets of recipes if we wanted to here and just make them a little bit more intuitive for exiting the position. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to check and see if the symbol's price is now below its 200-day moving average. This is the trend component. If the symbol now dips below its 200-day moving average, that might tell us that we want to exit the position. So we can type in the symbol manually, or because we're using a repeater, we can actually pull in the data of the existing symbol. Notice it says repeat for each long equity position and pull in the actual symbol itself. Then we go through and we just make all the changes that are appropriate for that particular indicator that we were using and hit save. Now we add another set of criteria. We can go down to the indicators at the bottom and we select this recipe here. Again, choose the actual ticker symbol that we want to pull the data in on. And again, this would only be the case if we had the repeater action here first. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to see that symbol field in place. Then we go over to the next field, and that's the ADX value. And we're going to see if the ADX value is below 25 now. So we'll type in 25. Once we hit save, now you can see that our two criteria are here. Again, if you see any errors or edits in here, like the one I just see right now, where I'm actually checking to see if the stock is below the 200-day moving average, you can just simply click on it and then hit save again. Now we have two different sets of criteria, and we're using our AND statement. You can use the OR statement if you want to, and then if either of these are true, then the stock would actually exit the position. And just for a little thought experiment, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and hit save, and this will now add that decision step into our automation editor. Now, if the symbol's price is below the 200-day moving average, or if the symbol's 14-day ADX value is below 25, we would potentially get out of the position and add a close position action. Again, you can link up the existing position because it's pulling in all the data after the repeater. This is a really easy way to build out some trend plus momentum. And notice that we're using the same types of recipes inside of a combined group, but just now using different fields for OR statements versus AND statements. If you want to make any of these changes and you want to go back to both AND statements being true, then you just simply change it here and then click Save. And that makes the change right inside your automation editor. So here we have our Trend Plus Momentum Manager. And because our Trend Plus Momentum Manager has the repeater function in it, it repeats through any and all positions that are long equity inside of this particular bot. So it doesn't matter how many scanners we have here that we've added or other positions that we get into that are long equity, they'll all be managed exactly the same using this one simple monitor automation. Once you're good to go, then you just simply go ahead and turn on all the automations here and let your bot start entering new positions. Again, the bot's going to start scanning for new positions with its scanners. If it enters new positions, then the monitors start turning on and start monitoring existing positions. And as always, the bot's going to follow all of the guidelines and directions that you've set up inside of your global settings for capital allocation and position limits. And you can change these at any point if you want to give the bot more allocation for capital or increase its position limits either daily or in total.